Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Muzz.
And I'm Josh.
And this is going to be the first of many wonderful programs that you're going to see. We're trying to do something new. This is going to be a little bit of geek, a little bit of nerd, and you're asking yourself, well, what's the difference?
Yep. And so actually, that's kind of what we want to start things off with. Like, whatever you identify yourself as, whether that's geek, whether that's nerd, let's try to assign some meaning to what those terms actually mean. Because unless we do that, it's really just kind of buzzwords that people just kind of throw around. Right. So we don't like buzzwords.
So how do you define nerd? Well, a lot of people, if you go by the dictionary, will tell you something like a person or individual obsessed with a nonsensical pursuit or hobby. I don't think it's really that black and white. I think a nerd is someone who's got a logical attachment to something. Nerds seem to really overthink things. Instead of saying, I really like Star Trek, the nerd will say, oh, but the left nacelle on the Enterprise, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, by the way, I checked out the new tech specs of that do, you know, and they start really getting into the science of it. And that always struck me as what a nerd is.
So what's a geek? Well, I mean, the definition varies from one person to the next, but I tend to use Simon Pegg's quote on being a geek as my baseline for what geekdom is. He said, being a geek is all about being honest about what you enjoy and not being afraid to demonstrate that affection. It means never having to play it cool about how much you like something. It's basically a license to proudly emote on a somewhat childish level rather than behave like a supposed adult. Being a geek is extremely liberating, Simon Pegg. And because Simon Pegg's pretty much my baseline for anything that is geek, I figure that's the best quote to explain it. For me, my more abridged version of that is a geek is someone who's not afraid to be absolutely just ravenously passionate about whatever their particular interest is. That's why you can also have, in addition to like your standard geek, you could have a sports geek, or you could have like, you know, a Nintendo geek or anything like that. It's someone who's just incredibly passionate but doesn't mind being that, and they don't make apologies for it. Alright, so now that we know what those two terms are, whether you're a nerd or a geek, it's our job to make sure that you walk away, you know, and hopefully that you learn something.
And so we're going to move on to our next segment. We were talking about really ridiculous video game titles and just thought it was worth a segment. So it's not a top 10, it's not a top 50, it's not a top list. It's just something we wanted to talk about. Just really ridiculous video game titles.
Yep.
Hey guys, do you want to play the new Street Fighter game?
What's it called?
It's called Super Mega Ultra Alpha Uber Atomic Ultimate Street Fighter V Championship Edition, Fifth Strike Turbo 2, Infinite Universal Conflict, versus X-Men, versus Tekken!
Alright, so let's take a look at the most ridiculous video game names ever. I actually have our first example right here in hand, and that is Mark Echo's it's Contents Under Pressure Getting Up. Because for a second, it looks like it's Mark Echo's Getting Contents Under Pressure Up, which actually makes about as much sense as the first thing I said. So it's a pretty ridiculous game title, and it kind of sets the standard for what we're going to be talking about. Yeah. What do you got?
Well, the first one I'm going to talk about is Divine Divinity.
Unless he really divine.
Do I really need to even say more than that?
Yeah.
Divine Divinity.
Divine Divinity.
Yes.
Okay. Following up Divine Divinity, I will say Two Worlds 2. Maybe not technically like, you know, an incorrect title grammatically, but it's just still totally ridiculous.
Right.
Like, yeah, let me get Two Worlds 2.
It seems
like,
really redundant.
Yeah, absolutely. What else?
Okay, I have to read this one.
Okay, all right.
Lord of the Rings: The Battle for Middle-earth 2. The Rise of the Witch King. It's a 3-in-1. It's a 3-in-1 title.
I thought it was only supposed to be like one game.
No,
you just named like 4 different games.
No, it's actually one title, just one. I love it.
Okay, I will go polar opposite. Much shorter title, but still very stupid. The Herbs. It was like that Sims spinoff, like The Sims in the city, but nobody in the history of a city ever has said, I live in the Herbs.
Yeah, where do you live?
Yeah.
I live in the Herbs.
It's like some marketing guy somewhere was like, oh, some people say they're from the burbs. They're from the Herbs.
Yeah, some guy in a suit, too.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I have a really good idea.
Yeah. It's like, all the urban people?
Yeah, the urban people will love this.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, my last one, for today at least.
Yeah.
Infinite Undiscovery.
Like, by its very nature is infinite, and yet here we are.
What is Undiscovery?
I have no idea.
Well, I looked it up online. I tried to find I typed in, what is the meaning of Infinite Undiscovery?
Yeah.
Tons of people talking about it, no one with a solid answer.
See,
because it makes no sense.
To me, it's just intriguing that there's like a whole community of people trying to decipher. Like, maybe that was their plan all along. Like, they're going to hate the game, but they're going to talk about this forever.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's the same guy that did the Herbs.
Yeah.
He was like, brilliant!
I got a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think. I can't remember what my last one was. That's gonna drive me crazy. Was it? Oh, I'm not gonna say eco because I talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
I just don't feel right saying it. And I guess that's all I got. Do you have anything else on your list? You go.
What do you want? Let's see.
Yeah. Wargasm.
Wargasm for the PC. That's bad.
It's just so bad. Alright, the point is, there are tons of horrible game names. We just sampled a few. We actually have a massive list here. We just don't want to go through all of them because we want to just totally like come back to the well and use this skit again in a future episode. So yeah,
We'll just say it was Wargasm.
yeah, Wargasm, totally horrible. So actually, if you guys know any horrible ones, you can feel free to let us know in the comments or in a video response yourself. But for right now, I think we're gonna go ahead and talk about something else. Speaking of things that were horrible or questionable.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it horrible, but
Horrible.
you know, we do have the recent press conference, the Sony press conference.
Yep.
They called it an unveiling. I don't know if I would call it an unveiling.
No.
But I say we talk about that.
Yeah, 30 seconds each on the clock. Let's do this.
Of everything they showed us, the best game we saw was a current-gen multi-platform title, Watch Dogs. I find that unbelievable. Then on top of that, they did a game console announcement without telling us the MSRP, the release date, or the average cost of the games, or anything that we really need to know that's pertinent to the release of a game console. This wasn't a console announcement. This was just some games and here's a controller. I'm pretty disappointed in that. I don't know about you.
So what did I think about the PlayStation 4 announcement? Well, for starters, it wasn't really a PlayStation 4 announcement, was it? They just announced a new controller, a few new games that weren't even exclusive, just some multi-platform things. And then they bring out Hitachi to talk about Final Fantasy. And what does he say? Look forward to E3. Because not that they can announce anything now, because they don't want to lay all of their cards out on the table. They just want to get the jump on Microsoft by 2 months maybe before they make their big announcement in March, April, something like that. So yeah, not super impressed by the PlayStation 4 announcement because we really didn't get to see the console. But I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what checks out at E3 this year.
Okay, so thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the next episode when we talk about shameless video game cash-ins. Also check out NerdKO Night at the Movies. This is something special we do every month, and you can find more information on the NerdKO Facebook page and on the NerdKO website. That's nerdko.com.
Yep. So make sure you check out nerdko.com and also geekspodcast.com because we're going to be posting the show up in both places. Thanks so much for watching, and that's all we really got for you for this week. So how should we end the show?
I don't know. What about Soprano style?
Soprano style is just so overdone. Alright, so now that you know what a geek and a nerd is, regardless of what you identify yourself as, we're going to make sure that you walk away from every episode of this show with, something. Oh, crap. We had that. I was thinking of the more you know thing. I was like, ugh.